I read a little book called Rich Dad Poor Dad when I graduated high school, and that book was the one that started me on my wealth building journey. Even though in university, I've spent way too much money, and throughout the 15-year journey, I've made so many mistakes. Now I have a portfolio of $200,000 in stocks, and I've closed my first rental property. And so I want to take a few minutes to just show you my personal transformation from penny pinching to now saving money effortlessly after 15 years of trying to build wealth. And there are 4 key transformations. The first is going from extreme to balanced. So I don't know about you, but when I first started saving money, I came across something called the FIRE movement. And I started saving money religiously, like financial independence, retire early. I'd save probably 60 to 70% of my income. Eventually that went up to 70 to 80%. But now I just say I save 45% because right now I'm saving 45%. But imagine not having internet for 2 years at home. Imagine living in this old rundown apartment by a lake with still water that would spawn flies that would cover up the walls of buildings and just turn the walls black, and I couldn't open my windows because the moment I would open my windows, those flies would swarm in, and all these flies would die the next day and just be on the floor. And I remember going to work in the morning and the janitor of the building was just sweeping flies off of the floors. It made it worse that these flies looked like mosquitoes. No, they didn't bite, but they looked like mosquitoes. It was disgusting. And I lived like that for a year after the 2 years without internet. And so that was the length I went to save money. And funny thing was, I didn't even save that much money. I probably, because of living in that condition, saved an extra 2,000 Canadian dollars a year from doing that. And I didn't really figure out how to enjoy my life while saving money until I met my wife. And she was just so different from me. She had this spirit of adventure. Before, when I wanted to buy anything that was remotely expensive, I would hesitate, I would plan, I would be like, oh, that's not worth it. But the moment I said, oh, I kind of want this thing, the moment I said to my wife was just like, get it, you can afford it, go buy it. And she really opened me up to a different way of thinking about consumption. She had a different understanding of what I could or could not afford, because in my mind I was thinking, if I am not financially free, then I cannot afford anything. In her mind, she was thinking, if I have the money, I can afford it. Right now, so both, like, we were at 2 separate extremes of financial philosophies. And thankfully we had other things that brought us together. And since marrying her, we had this beautiful marriage of financial philosophies. So now we both take a more balanced approach. Now I've learned how to enjoy the fruits of my labor while saving for the future. And at the same time, she's learned how to save for the future while still enjoying spending money. And so through understanding her, I finally found balance. I did the math, I set savings targets, I no longer felt guilty from spending money because I knew I was on track to meeting our financial goals. And so for you, especially if you're making a good income and you're on the extremes of either being too frugal or you're overspending, it's really about how you can find balance. Now, if you're being extremely frugal and that makes you happy, go for it. I'm talking to the people who make $150,000, $200,000 a year, but still live like they are broke and they are miserable because of it. Or I'm talking to the people who make $100,000 a year, but they're living a $200,000 a year lifestyle and they're miserable inside because they know they're propping up a lifestyle to the world that they can't actually afford, right? So to everyone else, you look like you made it, but you know on your inside that you're miserable, that you're stressed, that you're anxious, right? Like those are the people that I'm talking to. Now, the second transformation is the transformation from attachment to detachment. One thing that FIRE, people that pursue financial independence, retire early, do is we focus a lot on the dollar. Did I save enough, right? Am I saving the money that I want to save, right? How do I save an extra dollar? How do I get one day closer to financial independence? At least that was my mindset when I started. But 14, 15 years later, I've learned perhaps one of the most ROI positive money lessons that applies to pretty much every single area of wealth building and accumulation, whether it's investing, saving money, or making money. And it's that money flows to you when you are detached from the idea of it flowing to you. And I know it's funny to say that if you chase after the dollar, you're not actually chasing the thing that gives you the dollar. So for example, I was thinking about how to make more money while trading stocks. I was also thinking about how to make money online. None of that made me more money. When I was thinking about how to day trade, how to analyze the fundamentals of stocks and buy undervalued stocks, and checking the prices every single day, I was losing money in the stock market. When I was thinking about how I would make money online, like the exact words that I should say to get YouTube to recommend my videos, I was getting nowhere. Instead, I now adopt a more reliable approach. I don't doubt that some people do make money day trading. I don't doubt that some people do make money value investing. I mean, that's a proven philosophy. I'm just saying for me, I've chosen to optimize long-term reliable returns by buying a healthy selection of ETFs and diversifying my risk. That's all. And I'm saying that for most people that don't understand finance, and I mean, I have a finance degree and I still wouldn't say I understand finance and how value investing works, how to understand the information asymmetry, how to understand the value of a stock, right? Like that's an exercise that is simple but complex at the same time. For even this YouTube channel, the moment I started thinking about how I could be of service to you by maybe sharing the stories that I'm sharing right now and the epiphanies that I'm sharing right now, maybe that will help you. The moment I started thinking this way was actually when the YouTube channel started growing. I mean, if you go to my channel and you filter the videos by most viewed, you'll see kind of two videos, right? Like one video about saving money, the other video about like leaving Canada. Like those were pretty much unscripted videos of just me sharing, like me trying to make sense of my reality and experiences, right? Like the videos where I like try the hardest to get like the script in and like having a perfect hook and transition, like those are the videos that don't get any views for some reason. I don't know, like maybe it's the energy that you bring to your finances that also affects how much money you accumulate. And so now I just don't care. You know, like there is good practice, right? Like I should be not overspending. I should be investing, but I shouldn't meticulously focus on that extra dollar and where it comes from. There are just more important first principles, higher level things to focus on that will make a bigger difference. And this isn't some like woo-woo manifestation, like mindset hack. This is like actually practical, right? Because the moment I've diversified, I make more money reliably. The moment I focus on how I can add value, I make more money reliably, right? So being attached to the right things is more important than focusing on the dollar, right? So being detached from the dollar and attached to thinking about how you can be of service, how you can optimize for the long run is a better financial decision when it comes to saving money. And all it takes is one realization, and it's that you already have everything you need to succeed, which is actually the third point. And the third point is going from chasing to having. I think in my former years, I realized that I didn't have enough income. I didn't make enough money. And going online and like watching all these YouTube videos of gurus, immediately I was sold the idea that I wasn't enough, right? That I didn't have the skills, which was true, but led me down on this path of chasing after skills. And I was doing so blindly that I did not realize that it wasn't just the skill that I didn't have. Just the act of chasing after skills formed within me the belief that I wasn't the person that was deserving of extra income or extra money saved or making money from investing. And so that mindset of I gotta chase after this thing in order to be successful or in order to save more, make more, invest more, that mindset pushed me further away from success. It made me less accountable to myself and more accountable to tactics that other people use to meet their goals that might not necessarily work for me. And it wasn't until I met a coach and he said one thing that resonated with me that was so true that I never realized. And he said, everything works, but not everything works for you. And so I needed to find a way to save money, invest money, and build a business in a way that is true to myself, who I am, that feels like flow. And even that sense of me telling you, oh, I need to find this thing, doesn't perfectly encapsulate what I am trying to tell you. I'm saying there's a point in personal development or self-development when you realize that you already have everything you need to succeed, to save money, to not feel anxious, to not feel stressed, that you already have it in you. And all you need to do is just be. It's weird for me to tell you, but I'm sure that if you reach that point, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That there is a point where you can just be and save money. And then that's when saving money will become effortless to you, like how it is effortless to me today. And I'm sure you can think back to moments in your life or even how you live your life currently, that there are some things you do that just seem effortless. Hey, maybe you effortlessly scroll on your phone and you effortlessly watch Netflix because that's who you are. That's actually the fourth transformation that I want to go over. And it's the transition from doing to being. You know, I used to think about what I needed to become successful, right? Like jumping from this third point. I listened to Alex Hormozy content and I was just like, hey, just do the actions of success and be successful. But you know, I could never perfectly replicate those actions because they didn't feel genuine. I felt like I was just copying someone and I couldn't ignore my feelings of that's just not me, right? Because life isn't school. Right? Like in school, you can copy someone else's homework and get like a good mark, right? You can cheat on a test, get a good mark. Not recommending it, obviously. But in life, you cannot replicate the exact actions of someone else and expect to get the exact same results because one, you can't replicate others' actions exactly. And even if you do, the market will give you a different reaction because you come from a different context. And so the moment of change that changed everything for me regarding this was a moment when I decided to embrace uncertainty. Because in the same way of following everyone's tactics and unique mechanisms to succeed, it was just a way to get certainty. But that certainty never existed. Like following a method, following a way to make money was me grasping at a certainty that did not apply to me. And it was in that I realized that I needed to be someone else. Just like how we are who we are by what we do, we can also define what we do by being who we want to be. And so I thought about what is the version of myself that I aspire to be. I thought about, okay, this person works hard, this person makes mistakes, and that's okay because mistakes are also progress. This person tries to give the family he loves the life they deserve. This person is humble, is kind, is grateful. And so I thought about all of those things and I said, what's stopping me from being that person today? You know, there was nothing that was stopping me from being that person today. And so from that moment forward, I decided to be. You know, that's when the money started flowing, right? That's when I started thinking about how to increase my income in a way that actually worked, because anchored behind that desire to increase income was this stronger sense of being the person that I aspire to be and already becoming that version of myself. And so if you were already the successful version of yourself, and I'm not talking about like, oh, this is how much money you're making, but I'm talking about character traits and behaviors and habits and beliefs. Who would you be and what would you be doing? What does all of this mean for you? Well, what I realized over these last 15 years of saving money is that becoming better at saving money and investing has less to do with finding the right tactic and more to do with becoming the right person. So who is that right person to you? Leave a comment below. And if you're interested in having a conversation about this, click the link below. I want to talk to you, and I'll see you in the next video.